Okay, let's take a trip back in time. The year is 63 BC. At the walls of Jerusalem, two completely different worlds are about to smash into each other. On one side, you've got the unstoppable war machine of the Roman Republic, and on the other, the incredibly devout defenders of the Judean state. This is the story of that siege, a fascinating clash of strategy, faith, and brutal conquest, all taken directly from the account of the historian Josephus.
I want you to just picture this scene for a second. The city walls have been breached. Roman soldiers are flooding into the Holy Temple, swords out. It's absolute chaos, a total slaughter. And yet, in the middle of all this carnage, the priests are at the altar, just continuing their rituals. They're going on with their divine worship, pouring drink offerings, burning incense, as if the world isn't ending around them. It's an incredible image, right? And it really gets to the very heart of this conflict. So how on earth did things get to this point?
Well, to really get what's happening, we need to back up and look at the two sides. Leading the Roman charge was Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, Pompey the Great, one of the most famous and frankly ruthless generals of his time. His objective was simple: total subjugation. And standing against him wasn't just an army, but a fortress built for God, defended by a people who are absolutely determined to protect their independence and the holiness of their most sacred ground.
And let me tell you, the challenge Pompey was staring at was immense. I mean, Jerusalem's outer walls were tough enough, but the temple itself? That was like a second, even stronger fortress inside the city. Josephus tells us it was surrounded by this incredibly strong wall and protected by a valley so deep, he called it terrible. A direct, head-on assault? It looked pretty much impossible.
But here's where Pompey shows he's not just a general, he's a master strategist. He found a weakness, but it wasn't in a stone wall. It was in their faith. See, he noticed the Jewish practice of the Sabbath. On the seventh day, the religious law said they could absolutely fight back if they were attacked. They could defend themselves, but they were forbidden from starting a fight or doing any other kind of work. For the people of Judea, this was a sacred, unbreakable rule. For Pompey, it was a weapon.
So, how did he use it? Oh, this is brilliant. First, he just watched. He saw that the defenders would only fight back if provoked on the Sabbath. Second, he ordered his own soldiers to do nothing on that day, no attacks. This probably lulled the defenders into thinking they were safe. Then came the master stroke. Step 3. He commanded his army to spend every single Sabbath filling that giant valley with earth and materials, and the defenders couldn't do a thing to stop them. Week after week, the ramp got higher and higher, completely unopposed. And finally, he used that man-made mountain to roll his massive siege engines right up to the wall. He literally weaponized their day of rest.
And this is where the story gets, well, just surreal. On the outside, you've got Roman battering rams pounding the walls and slingers raining down stones from above. But inside the temple, life just continued. It's almost impossible to believe. The daily sacrifices never stopped. The ritual cleanings were all done right on schedule. Josephus writes with what sounds like pure astonishment that every single part of their religious worship was performed with the utmost exactness, even as the battle was raging right outside. So this incredible standoff, this clash of pure military might and unshakable faith, it goes on for 3 long, brutal months. The defenders, even with the odds stacked against them and Pompey's cunning strategy, they held out with amazing tenacity. But after 3 months, something had to give. And it did. One of the great towers was finally smashed to pieces, and the wall was breached. The first man to storm the temple was a guy named Faustus Cornelius, who just so happened to be the son of the former Roman dictator Sulla. He was followed by his commanders, and then the floodgates opened. The Roman army poured into the sacred complex. What followed was just a horrific bloodbath. As the Romans took their revenge for the long siege, and different Jewish factions actually started turning on each other in the chaos, 12,000 Judeans were killed. And this brings us right back to where we started, to that unbelievable scene. Even with the battle completely lost, with death literally swinging a sword at them, the priests at the altar chose piety over survival. They were cut down in the very act of their sacred duties. It's a final, stunning testament to the very devotion that Pompey had so ruthlessly turned against them.
So with the temple now taken, Pompey stood before a doorway that no outsider had ever been allowed to cross, the Holy of Holies. This wasn't just some important room. This was the innermost sanctuary, a space so holy that only the high priest could enter, and he could only do it once a year. For everyone else on the planet, it was completely and utterly forbidden.
And Pompey did the unthinkable. He and his officers, they just walked right in, violating the most sacred law of the Jewish faith. And inside they saw all the legendary treasures, the golden candlestick, the table, the censers. But then, in a move that absolutely nobody saw coming, Pompey ordered his men not to touch a single thing. He left the 2,000 talents of sacred money and all the golden vessels exactly where they were.
And this is the question that just hangs in the air, even centuries later. He desecrated their most holy place, yet he spared its incredible wealth. He broke their ultimate taboo, showing everyone he had the power to do whatever he wanted, and then he showed restraint. So what was his motive? Was it some kind of calculated political move? A moment of genuine respect for a power he didn't understand? Or was it the ultimate power move, to see what was forbidden and prove that not even their God could stop him? That's a question for the ages.